You are sitting in front of a mirror, watching a pair of stainless steel scissors glide through your hair. The blades are perfectly balanced, the edge is honed to a microscopic precision, and a plastic comb keeps the strands perfectly organized. It is a mundane chore you schedule every few weeks without a second thought. You watch the useless dead weight of your own biology fall to the floor, swept away into a trash bin, without a moment of appreciation for the machinery that made it possible. For 300,000 years, none of that existed. There were no salon chairs, no steel alloys, no automated factories, and no mirrors to check your blind spots. If you strip away every metal tool in your home, you are left with the exact same biology your ancestors possessed, but with an open and urgent question. You are left standing in the wild, with a head of hair that never stops growing, wondering how to prevent your own body from sabotaging your survival. How did they keep their hair from blinding them during a high-stakes hunt or tangling into a matted nest that attracted deadly parasites? The answer is not that they walked around looking like feral, unkempt caricatures from an old Hollywood cartoon. Your ancestors were masters of material science, and the way they managed their hair will permanently change how you view that pair of scissors on your bathroom counter. They looked at the natural world not as a wilderness to endure, but as a vast hardware store filled with precision cutting edges. To understand how prehistoric people cut hair, you first have to understand the sheer material difficulty of the task. Human hair is remarkably tough, possessing a tensile strength that rivals copper wire of the same diameter. It is composed of keratin, the exact same durable protein that forms the hooves of horses and the claws of apex predators. Trying to cut it with a blunt object just crushes the shaft, leading to painful pulling and split ends that degrade the hair over time, making it retain moisture and rot. For hundreds of thousands of years, the ultimate solution to this problem was volcanic glass. Obsidian occurs when lava cools so rapidly after an eruption that crystalline structures simply do not have the time to form, leaving behind a naturally smooth, brittle material. When a skilled toolmaker strikes a block of obsidian at the correct angle, it fractures into flakes with an edge that is literally one molecule thick. Modern surgical scalpels made of high-grade steel are incredibly sharp, but a freshly knapped obsidian edge is significantly sharper, cutting cleanly between individual skin cells rather than tearing through them. Prehistoric hunters used these hyper-sharp flakes not just to process game or shave their faces, but to trim their locks with a level of precision that modern barbers struggle to replicate without electricity. Archaeologist Don Crabtree famously demonstrated the efficiency of these ancient tools by performing surgeries on himself using obsidian blades he knapped by hand. He noted that the cuts healed faster and with less scarring than those made with medical-grade steel, proving that the ancient technology was not a crude compromise, but a peak design. Your ancestors were utilizing an edge that surpasses the engineering of modern operating rooms. Where obsidian was unavailable due to local geography, your ancestors turned to flint and chert. These materials do not fracture quite as cleanly as volcanic glass, but they can be flaked into incredibly sharp, durable serrated edges that act like miniature saws. By using two flint flakes in tandem, a prehistoric person could trap a bundle of hair against one flat stone and slice through it with a sawing motion using another. It was a slow, deliberate process that required two people, turning haircutting into a cooperative, social ritual rather than a solitary chore. You could not easily perform this task on yourself without risking deep lacerations to your own scalp. But cutting was only half the battle. If you have ever tried to trim your own hair without a mirror, you know how quickly a simple cleanup can turn into a complete disaster. Your ancestors did not have silvered glass mirrors, which only became widely available a few centuries ago. Instead, they relied on nature and high-effort engineering to see themselves. Still pools of water served as the original mirrors, though they required a bright, windless day and a shaded overhang to be effective. If the water rippled, your reflection vanished, leaving you blind to the blade. By the Neolithic period, humans had figured out how to create stable, portable reflection surfaces using the earth itself. At the ancient site of Çatalhöyük in modern-day Turkey, archaeologists recovered mirrors made of obsidian blocks that had been painstakingly ground flat and polished with hematite slurry until they reflected light with remarkable clarity. Imagine a person 7,000 years ago crouching near a hearth fire inside a mud brick home, angling a heavy piece of polished volcanic rock to catch the light so they could carefully trim their bangs with a fresh stone flake. The amount of labor required to create that single moment of self-reflection is staggering. For areas they could not see, like the back of the neck or the crown of the head, they relied on an intricate web of social trust. Hair care was an act of grooming that reinforced community bonds, a behavior deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. Primates spend hours each day picking through each other's fur to remove debris and parasites, which releases endorphins and reduces group tension. When human ancestors lost most of their body hair but retained the thick canopy on their heads, this social grooming shifted focus. Trimming, braiding, and cleaning hair became an explicit expression of care and mutual reliance. You did not trust just anyone with a razor-sharp stone blade near your jugular vein. You trusted your family, your hunting partners, and your tribal elders. The reasons for cutting hair went far beyond basic aesthetics or vanity. In a world without synthetic beanies or modern air conditioning, your hair was a critical thermoregulation device that could mean the difference between life and death. During hot seasons, heavy hair trapped sweat and heat against the scalp, increasing the risk of heat exhaustion during long endurance hunts across the savanna. Trimming the hair short or shaving sections of the head completely allowed the wind to cool the skin. Conversely, during bitter winters, letting the hair grow long provides vital insulation for the brain, which consumes a massive percentage of total body heat. Safety was an even more immediate concern on the prehistoric landscape. If you are stalking a woolly mammoth through dense brush or sprinting away from a cave hyena, long, loose hair is a massive liability. It catches on brambles, blocks your peripheral vision, and provides a perfect handhold for an enemy or a predator during a struggle. Trimming hair away from the eyes and ears was a matter of survival. Ensuring that a hunter could see a subtle movement in the grass or hear the snap of a twig from a mile away. A single stray hair blocking your vision for half a second could mean missing a target or failing to see a strike. There was also the relentless, invisible threat of parasites. Lice, ticks, and mites view a dense, unwashed mass of human hair as a luxurious habitat. Before the invention of chemical shampoos, the most effective defense against an infestation was keeping the hair short or shaving it off entirely using sharpened flint scrapers. For those who chose to keep their hair long for cultural reasons, your ancestors invented the comb, an object that appears in the archaeological record far earlier than most people realize. The earliest known combs, carved from animal bone, antler, or wood, date back thousands of years and feature teeth that are spaced with incredible precision. These were not just styling tools, they were specialized medical instruments designed to pull out lice eggs and debris, keeping the scalp healthy without the need for blades. In areas where cutting tools were scarce or stone was too dull, ancient humans developed an alternative method that sounds terrifying to a modern viewer: using fire. By taking a glowing ember or a controlled torch made of tightly bound resinous wood, a person could singe the ends of their hair. The heat cauterized the hair shaft instantly, sealing it against moisture loss and split ends. It required immense skill and a steady hand to burn away exactly enough hair without setting the entire head ablaze, a technique that is still practiced in certain traditional barbering cultures today. As human societies grew more complex, hair evolved from a biological necessity into a canvas for identity. The way you cut, bound, or colored your hair told everyone in your valley exactly who you were before you even spoke a word. It revealed your age, your marital status, your tribe, and whether you had recently lost a loved one. In many ancient cultures, cutting hair was a profound act of mourning, a physical sacrifice left behind to mark the passing of a relative. Every time you look at a modern pair of scissors, you are looking at the final, polished evolution of a problem your ancestors solved with fire, bone, and volcanic glass. The desire to trim, style, and manage our hair is not a superficial byproduct of modern fashion magazines. It is a deeply ingrained human trait that helped keep our species clean, safe, and connected for millennia. The tools have changed from raw earth to factory-forged steel. The social bond has shifted from a trusted family member by a campfire to a paid professional in a lit shop. But the basic human need remains entirely unchanged. When you reach for that mundane tool on your counter, you are participating in a grooming ritual that has been practiced for hundreds of thousands of years. You are holding a monument to your own survival.